We'll like popcorn talk.
Okay, yes, ready? Are we on? We're live. Thanks for watching tonight. We're here back doing a cooking class. We think we're making something easy tonight. We're making beef and barley soup. I am Julie Keller, the nutritionist, and
I'm Marissa with the diabetes program, and this is put on by the waq'iswi wellness program.
And we cheated a little bit tonight, and we started a batch ahead of time. So this is cooking because the barley in the recipe has to simmer for an hour. And in case things go fast, we didn't want you all to be stuck here for an hour while we're waiting for the barley to be done. So we were trying to demonstrate a target balanced meal tonight. And so we just wanted to show you that it doesn't have to be tricky. We can actually get these proportions in one dish. So the barley will be our carb. We've got some beef, which will be the protein section. And then we have quite a few vegetables in the soup. I had a couple people tell me last week that they don't love vegetables, but the one way they like to eat them is in soup. So we're gonna try that, right? We can cut them kind of small and saute them, and they kind of get hidden.
We also have a really big salad bar that we're going to be putting together, so that's going to hit all of the
With a lot of different choices.
veggies and even some of the carb elements too.
Has anybody ever eaten barley? Okay, it's kind of like oatmeal. It's a soluble fiber, so it's really good for our cholesterol and our blood sugar. It's good in things like soup and stew. It's not something that I would cook a whole lot of and give you all a bowl of just plain barley and have it be delicious. But in soup and stew, it's really good, and it's really a friendly carb, good for our blood sugar because of the soluble fiber, just like oatmeal, lowers our cholesterol, keeps our blood sugar from spiking. So it will be in the soup tonight, and that's usually the way that I like it the best is in soup.
And this is what it looks like. It's kind of like a cross between a rice and a pasta noodle. Like, have you ever had orzo? Orzo? It's similar to that.
So we're gonna try it. So we're having a new grain. So we're taking a little recipes. And we started, I kind of mentioned, we started one batch of this soup in this roasting pan because we didn't want to have to wait an hour for the barley to be done. You could put this recipe in a crock pot if you wanted to. You're gonna want to keep it on low. Has anybody ever put rice in a crock pot and left it in there too long? It will actually dissolve. So rice noodles and barley can actually dissolve if you put them in a crock pot like on high for more than a couple hours. So that, okay, so I'm gonna glove up.
Hi, thanks for coming. So there's water and then little add-ins. So it's like if you ever had Crystal Light before, but these ones are sweetened with Truvia instead of
Which is stevia.
aspartame. And then the LaCroix is like a sparkling water with very little flavor and high carbonation. So if you
like sparkling water. Have you all tried stevia before? Okay, so most people think it tastes sweet, but some people it tastes bitter, kind of like aspirin. Unfortunately, I'm somebody who doesn't like the taste of stevia, but try it and see if you like it. Okay, so we've got some beef that I'm gonna cut into small pieces. And the first step for this soup is we're just gonna brown the beef in some olive oil with salt, pepper, and garlic.
And you can pretty much use any kind of like roast meat to do this. We got the round bottom roast.
It's lean.
Because it looked a little bit leaner. But you can even buy like pre-sliced up stew meat, and then you don't even have to cut it up.
Or fajita meat, or you could actually even use ground meat if you had it. It would be fine. I'm gonna fight with this.
We have stuff back there to work on a vision board. So you basically just like go through magazines and cut out images that speak to you, or like speak to your goals, or that represent what you like to do, where you want to go. And you just kind of glue them onto the piece of paper, and then that's something that you would put somewhere that you see every day to kind of remind you like what you want to reach for. A positive thing, just an option. And we also have seasoning for not sprinkles or glitter.
Yeah, that would be, even though they're near the crafting supplies.
So take one, take two, however many you'll use. But they've got like pepper, salt, garlic, all the things.
Take out all my hostilities as a meat cutter.
Spaghetti noodles. So these were given out at food distribution this last time. They're made out of drum wheat, and there's a lot of like health benefits to drum wheat versus.
It's supposed to be a little higher protein and a little lower carb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to do like the noodle figure.
I was gonna say like the gold macaroni necklace. That's probably about my crafting style.
That's funny.
I'm glad you told him that wasn't glitter. That could have been kind of fun,
Yeah.
actually.
If you
Okay,
feel
so
like
there's that.
paprika represents you though,
Yes.
feel free to sprinkle that on there.
And the curry's a nice color too. Yeah, so now I'm getting meat cutter. If you buy stew meat, you might still want to cut it a little bit smaller, especially if kids will be eating this, just so it's safe and not a choky hazard.
So she's cutting up the meat. I'm gonna cut up the vegetables. So when you make the soup, you want to brown the meat first. So it's a good idea to start with cutting that up, and then while your meat browns, you can cut up the
This
vegetables.
goes together really fast once you get things cut up.
And if you like your carrots and celery a little bit more hard texture consistency, make that your cuts bigger because they'll cook slower. But if you like them mushy, then I'd suggest to cut them smaller.
I'm getting meat off the cutting board, the world's tiniest cutting board to chop meat.
That is a small cutting.
Yeah,
It
it's
is.
tiny. So we had a large one. So I'm actually looking at the door prize there to keep for myself, but we had a large one and it's taking a vacation apparently, so I'll buy another.
Forever vacation.
Yes, it's been rehomed, I think. Okay, almost good. Almost got this. Okay, so barley
That's
is,
funny.
okay, so barley is in the same family as oatmeal as far as soluble fiber and being a good grain. So hopefully you guys will be brave and give it a try. Spat up here. Trying not to overload my cutting board.
Does anybody like to use a crock pot when they cook? Yeah, so you could do this in a crock pot on like a low heat for 4 to 6 hours.
Or high heat for 2, but you'd have to watch it so the barley doesn't overcook. It could also go in an Instapot, and it would probably take about 6 minutes for the barley to be done.
That's just wild to
I
me.
know.
They take approximately 6 minutes.
I know. The only problem is, well, cooking time would be 6 minutes. I am not keeping on my cutting board. I will be sanitizing the counter here when I'm done.
But you'd still want to brown the meat before you put
Yes,
it in the crock pot.
absolutely. Okay, I'm almost done.
Why is that?
The texture, well, it would eventually cook, but it would be tougher. So the texture is better if you brown it first. I don't always, if I'm cooking for something for myself in a crock pot, I sometimes don't. But in the Instapot, things don't get golden. Meat kind of, if you don't brown it first, it kind of turns a gray color.
And then also everything else is going to cook a lot faster than the meat. So you could likely like mush out all of your other ingredients. And then by the time your meat was fully cooked.
Yeah, don't put anything raw on my side of the table. My cutting board is overflowing. Okay, almost good. I'm just gonna hit some olive oil on my pan. This is actually kind of funny to use this tiny cutting board with this.
I thought you did just like a challenge for yourself.
I do like doing things hard. I have a tendency to make things harder for myself, especially when I'm being filmed, apparently. Okay, I'm gonna pull these fatty pieces off. Okay.
Doing good though.
Yeah, I got it. Take out all your aggression on a sharp thing and then cut up some meat. I was saying, I don't know if my career as a butcher would have been good, but you could get a lot of hostility for sure. Okay. Okay. I've got most of it kept on the cutting board. Just in the sink, throw away my gloves.
And I did pre-wash the celery and carrots before
Yes, I
this.
watched you do it. I watched you.
I actually debated not to, and then I decided I should.
And then you told me, you admitted to me that you weren't
Yeah.
going to, and then you did. Okay, so I'm just gonna put some olive oil in my pan and heat that up before I add the meat to it. You can also use avocado oil if you don't like the taste of olive oil, because it does definitely have its own taste.
Why olive oil and not butter or regular fish?
Olive oil is a little bit heart healthier, so cholesterol level it's a little bit better in the long run. But if you like the taste of butter, you could start with another oil and then use a little bit of butter at the end, and you would taste the butter. Just to get, butter does have a really good flavor that's hard to duplicate for sure. Good job, you cut those carrots fast. Nicely done.
Thank you.
I should have left my glove on while I was doing this. Put them on. Since I'm gonna touch that. I'll use some hot soapy water on my side in a minute.
Anybody have any questions so far?
It
Thoughts?
can be about anything, not necessarily about this.
Yeah.
we're gonna move there.
I was like, I haven't heard a peep out of the little guy, but he's out on a walk or something.
Oh, he is. Okay.
These tables are super low.
I know.
They're not designed for tall people.
I know. So we have a low table and tiny boards. Other than that, things are super easy.
Safety first.
Okay, I'm just gonna wipe that down a little bit. I'll put this in the dishwasher. Kara, do we have anybody with questions out?
No questions yet.
Now I'm gonna cut up an onion. We went with the sweet onions, but there's sweet, white, and yellow, and all would be fine. And I usually start with a bigger knife, but we don't have one of those, so I'm gonna cut
I
off.
used it for the
Oh,
my stuff.
I'm gonna cut off both ends of the onion to help get the outer peel off. And I'm not gonna use this whole thing for our smaller portion, but in that roaster pan, I did cut up a whole one. And if you love onion, you can make your slices bigger. If you kind of just want to hide it and use it for flavor, make your slices a lot smaller.
Okay.
It's beef and barley soup.
Uh-huh. And it's actually called, it's from the Food Network, it's actually called Beef, Barley, and Mini Vegetables. Ta-da!
And then once we get this going, we'll start cutting up all the salad bar toppings. So with salads, you can pretty much put anything you want into a salad.
I'm probably gonna have meat everywhere.
And then you can also like prep your ingredients. So if you cut everything up and put it in different Tupperwares without the salad dressing, because that's what will like wilt up
it.
your salads if you try to eat them the next day, then you could just quick grab and go and throw some of everything that you cut up on your plate and add your dressing.
Do you notice when you're cooking in front of people, everything takes a lot longer to heat up? Oh my gosh. There we go.
It's probably also the stove, the heating element.
I think it is. Maybe it's worked too hard for too long.
Yeah.
It's,
It's calling it quits.
yeah, it might be. Definitely not a commercial stove, that is for sure. Okay, got some heat that's happening. Maybe put a little bit more. A little bit more garlic on there. Like I said, we could use any kind of meat you have, and you could also use ground meat if you had ground meat that you wanted to use.
And you would just probably adjust your cook time if you used ground, right? Yeah.
Well, the barley's really the thing that takes the longest,
Okay.
so it would probably still take an hour.
Okay.
It's just the barley. Did you cut yourself?
No, I think we're good.
Okay.
Either that or I'm super dehydrated.
No, I didn't.
I'll trade you if you want me to cut for a bit. You want to stir the beef?
No, I got it. Thank you though.
I'm going to give myself a spoon red. I'm going to switch gears and help cut some stuff too.
Okay, we'll need garlic. Yeah, garlic.
Okay, and mash some garlic.
Mediterranean.
You know what? This is not a room. I'm having bad appliances tonight. I'm going to try a little thicker one. Oh, I see. Hold on.
So I'm gonna do half the onion, half the large onion for this.
I want a hard surface for the garlic.
And I'm gonna cut it pretty small because I don't know how everybody feels about onion.
Garlic off here. Okay, we also thought soup was good because we have a lot of people getting upper respiratory infections right now. And soup seems like a good idea when you're not feeling well. The broth is definitely comforting and helps with upper respiratory stuff.
And if you make like a really big batch, like this roaster pan or a crock pot, you can freeze half of it. So then when you want it again, you don't even have to make any of it. You could just defrost it and throw it in a pot and let it heat
Or
up.
microwave.
Yeah, or the
And
microwave.
it stays in the refrigerator for 4 days safely.
So that's like 8.
Yeah.
I'm always smelling stuff like, okay, can I still eat this?
Yes, I know. I've been brainwashed. Careful. Brainwashed over the years. Be super careful. Let's get a little more garlic.
Did you already season this?
Yes, but feel free. I'm definitely probably heavier on the garlic than it was on the salt and pepper.
Okay.
So I was probably lightest on the pepper. Garlic, ready to go. Okay, carrots, mushrooms, onion. We're probably good.
If you go to use these drills, I open the tops to the bigger openings.
Okay,
Just
good to know.
like that.
I might do one more clove of garlic. Okay. Anybody have any questions about blood sugar or anything that we're cooking? Or general nutrition questions about anything else?
These are called crimini mushrooms. There were like 6 different mushroom options at the store. I never realized.
Does anybody love morels or hunt morels, pick morels? Morels could go in this too if you really like them.
Morel mushrooms. They look like little brains.
They do. And people that love them really love them.
Yeah, it's like a delicacy. And
It is.
I
They are
remember
good. It's a different
I tried to
taste.
eat them, and somebody like made them and was so proud of it, and I did not like it.
Yeah, it's a different taste if you're not. And you mentioned that you're kind of learning to love mushrooms.
Yeah.
So, okay, I'm gonna put a little oil in this pot. The second pot that we're gonna put the onions and the mushrooms in first.
They just have a weird texture,
Yeah. Well,
but they have good flavor. And
like
these
one of
ones
the,
aren't so bad.
so the different flavors mushrooms are one of the umami flavors that add like depth.
Mm.
So like the ultimate savory flavor.
Yeah, I
It's like
remember
the
that.
new. Yes, I drug you to one of my experiments.
That was cool though.
Yes. So there's sweet, salty, sour, and then umami is the other one. And mushrooms are one of those. Umamis.
It's fun to say.
Yes.
Umami.
Umami.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like. Okay, this is almost getting brown.
Okay.
You know, and if you
everything else
didn't,
is ready.
I mean, if you do it like, if you want to drop, as soon as this heats up, make sure I have the right one. I need the beer.
That's getting all hot
Yes,
and you have the lid on it.
I know, that would be awesome.
Is it there? You got
Yes.
that? Okay.
Yeah.
So it's a good it's going
Yes,
on for
and
this
put those onions and that in there.
So you can do, so you want to put a little bit of oil on the base of the pan that you're gonna make your soup in, so the actual like, pot, that's what it's called. The pot, and then we add the onion first and let it cook. for about-
Mushrooms, onion, and then the other stuff.
Yep, for about 2 to 3 minutes, and then add the mushrooms in right after, and then the carrots and celery, and all that's done in the pot that you're actually gonna make the soup in. So really 2 pans, and you cook a really good big meal too, so
Or
that's nice.
You could cook the meat in the same pot and then just take it out when you're gonna chip the mushrooms and the onions in. So,
So then it could even be 1 pan
yes.
pot. That's like my least favorite part about cooking, I feel
So,
like, is dishes.
right, and to be honest, okay, if you were making this for yourself and you didn't want to saute the vegetables, you could honestly cook the meat first and then just put the vegetables in the pot with the other things and it would be okay. But it'll be a little tastier if it's cooked in oil first, but you wouldn't have to absolutely do that.
Is he teething at all? Do you want this?
And you can,
Yeah. Celery is also a great teething resource because
as
it's,
long as just pull the strings.
yeah, it doesn't break down very easily, so you don't have to worry about choking.
Okay. Meat, okay. So the meat is done. I'm gonna use the broth that cooked off the meat with a little bit of olive oil. I'm gonna keep that because we'll put it back and we'll add some flavor to that soup when we get going. If you wanna bring your cutting board over, let's put those guys in. I'll turn this down to low.
There's a question if the recipe will be available.
Yes, I have it. So we could just figure out how to post it maybe
Okay.
at the end if you want to. And it's from the Food Network, so. Hopefully I'm not too late. I don't want anybody to be sick, but I feel like soup is really good when you're sick, so that's what made me want to pick soup. And I hope that people are getting well.
Even just when it's cold.
Yes, I know. Of course now it's 50 degrees outside now here, but it was very cold this morning. So cold weather and people getting sick made me feel like we needed to make soup.
It's like the ultimate comfort food.
Yes. Okay, thank you. Perfect.
Is that, I'm gonna turn it on just a
Yeah.
smidge, 'cause
Yes. For some reason I wanted to cook everything on like smoke point right now.
it cooks hotter than the one in the
I
front,
know.
which is.
Well, in that roasted pan.
Okay, I'm gonna start cutting stuff for the salad. So,
I'll take care of this. I'll see this more and add. Yeah. So this roasting pan, my sincere hope is that the barley is actually done in a reasonable amount of time. I don't think I understand how that works. It's hot, but not quite as hot as I want it to be, but we'll see, hopefully. Fingers crossed.
I'm gonna save some of the carrots for the salad.
Okay.
So this is the bowl to dump in there.
Okay, this is pretty good, thank you. I will take that. So the garlic, the celery and onion, the celery and carrots will be next. At the very end, when there's just a few minutes left for the soup, we're adding spinach and a little bit of dill. And you could use fresh spinach, you could use chard. So sometimes the vegetables that no one loves very much, like kale, those are good in small pieces in soup a lot of times. So this would be a recipe where you could cut up little bits of kale and put them in, or chard or spinach. And pretty much you could add any vegetable you love to this soup.
I'm gonna start with radishes. So they come like this in the store. And you just, the way I do it is I pull each one off and then wash it, because you don't use the actual leafy part. And then I'll cut them up.
Okay, if I don't set up the smoke detector, it would be awesome.
I think the radish is good in salad because it adds a really good crunch. But they are kind of like high.
They're spicy.
Are they?
Yeah.
What?
Which I love.
Radishes? Yeah.
Yeah.
Do they have a little
Yeah.
Yes. I can't stop looking at that. It'll be better if I don't. Stop looking at it. Sauteing these. I'm going to add a little bit more to my vegetables, just a little bit more pepper.
Okay.
Oh gosh.
How orange
Did you just tell me? Yes. The big hole. It's okay. I just want to add more. We're using light salt, which has less sodium and a little bit of potassium in there, which makes it blood pressure friendly. So potassium helps your blood pressure stay down. So I usually use this when I'm cooking. And a little bit of garlic.
And if you came in late, there's sparkling water up front. It has very mild taste. It's basically just like carbonated water. And then there's water with little
Drop-ins.
kind of like Crystal Light drop-ins.
Okay.
Has anybody tried the cherry limeade one, the black cherry limeade? I'm so intrigued by that.
Okay. I'm going to add the meat and the broth back into my vegetables. I'm only going to add, the pearl barley, I am going to be careful. I'm only going to add like a third of the pack. Only maybe half.
Yeah, I think that would be good.
It's a smaller batch. We don't want to end up with barley with barley with no liquid. Okay, that over here. Okay. Then we use beef broth. So we've got our vegetables, our meat, our barley, so half a cup of barley by the recipe, beef broth. Just gonna pour that in.
And I think that one has, you can get like lighter sodium broths.
Yes.
Because they're usually pretty high in salt.
And so we did get a reduced sodium. Okay.
I was noticing that about, I was wishing for, just the bean soup that you get
Yes.
in the can.
Yes.
And I warmed it up and I took a bite.
Super
I'm like,
salty.
It was so salty.
Yeah.
I couldn't eat no more.
Diced tomatoes and juice. A lot of times the broth will have some tomato in there just to give it some depth, so I'm gonna put that in there.
I think you can find some of the canned soups with the reduced sodium.
They still are kind of salty. For some reason,
Yeah.
the bean and bacon doesn't seem to be one that they put less salt in.
Absorb,
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it does. Okay, and then we're gonna add a couple cups of water. The barley's going to absorb water as it cooks, so you might look at it and think there's plenty in there, but once the barley starts to cook, it's going to be gone. Okay, then we just need to let this come to a boil. And then when it's boiling, we're gonna put the lid on and turn it down so it simmers. So simmering is just barely boiling, just like little bubbles coming to the top slowly. And then it can take about an hour for the barley to cook. So that's definitely the longest part, but it'll be good. Like I said, if you're an Instant Pot person, it would probably take about 6 minutes for the barley to cook in an Instant Pot. Probably about 6 hours on low in a slow cooker, or maybe about 90 minutes on high. I'm just gonna get that to
For
boil.
tomatoes, I got these, they're called Constellation. It's a medley of different like cherry tomatoes. So there's yellow, orange, red, and like a green one. But you can either cut these in half or just keep them whole.
Oh yeah, this is gonna be good. The barley's getting done.
Yay! Wash them.
So we did like a 70-30 split with the recipe because we didn't want you all to have to wait here for an hour while the barley cooks. So hopefully we got the proportions right. So we don't want to be here till midnight waiting for barley. Our first cooking class, we cooked a whole chicken and some potatoes. And for some reason, the oven wasn't working and the potatoes were not getting done, and it drove us crazy.
Julie went over to Behavioral
Oh, yeah.
Health and used their oven, and she was just like sprinting back and forth, like trying.
I was. Trying to get this
It was quite comical.
It was actually.
We've come a long ways.
Yeah, yeah. That wasn't my fault, that was equipment failure.
Okay, next I'm gonna do
So that's
so
gonna cook.
lettuce options. I went with the just green leaf lettuce. So it's like this. It looked the best. That's typically what I'll pick.
Literally just a couple more minutes.
The darker the lettuce, the more nutrients there are in it. So if you like iceberg, which is like that like white thin lettuce, a good idea to maybe mix some of that with some of the greener stuff. So you're still getting good nutrients.
Okay, the very last bit, when there's about 5 or 10 minutes left, is when you add either the spinach, the kale, or whatever leafy greens you have. They don't take very long to cook. So, I'll do that here in a few minutes with that. And I'm gonna go light on the dill. Do you guys like the taste of dill? Have you had it, or do you like it very much? Okay. The recipe calls for it. Sometimes I leave spices out if we're not sure. If you want to, we could just leave the salt, the pepper, and the garlic, and maybe not put the dill in. And I could leave some dill on the side, just cut some fresh dill. And if you want to put it in your bowl just to try a little, you can, but maybe I won't put it in the recipe. Because dill is one of those flavors that's a little bit strong. And if you don't love it, it could be kind of off-putting. So maybe I'll cut up a little and just put it out. You can try it. Does that sound safe to you?
Yeah.
So I like dill, but it's, there's a couple of spices. Dill and rosemary can be kind of strong, 2 of them. Do you need help?
I'm gonna dry it.
So I'm just gonna cut a little bit of this fresh dill, and then people can, if they want to experiment, or if you even just want to pick up a little piece and see what it tastes like, and not be super obligated to put it in your soup and then be like, okay, not loving the dill.
So I wash the lettuce, and lettuce like this will like hold onto water at all costs. So I'm gonna actually dry it. Because nobody likes a soggy salad. It's okay.
See you later. Okay.
Have a good
I'm just
night.
gonna put some of this down. I'll put some tongs in there. I love the smell of this, but yeah, I don't want to put too much in the soup and then have it be super scary. It's kind of pretty. You can make a wreath out of it. It's kind of lovely.
What is it?
It's dill. It's fresh dill.
Oh.
See how it looks? Kind of pineish, but it does have a strong flavor, kind of. So I'll just make it as something you can try if you want to, and you won't be stuck with it. Okay, there's that. I'll put this in the refrigerator. We could put a little bit in that, maybe the second one.
Dill.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
And then if you want to try it later, they can. And then the first one, maybe.
Dang, this lettuce loves water.
Yes, it does. Junior, I can help you. I'll try not to be too much healthy with. the swoop and take over person. Okay, I'm gonna put some of this, I'm gonna open this and kind of rough cut it. So we had frozen spinach that is thawed, but you could use fresh. Let me see. Oh, actually, that's pretty solid. Might just add it in as it is. Okay. I'm not gonna get crazy with this either.
So I'm gonna cut this up. Oh no, actually I think I'm just gonna tear it.
My big worry was that the barley wasn't gonna be done and we're good. So yay.
Yay!
And I stopped touching the hot roaster pan, so it's all going better. Okay. I'm gonna do a little more then. I'm gonna leave just like a quarter of this package for that last batch, and I'll take 3/4 in this. There's something they call the Mind Diet research they've done to help Alzheimer's, and dark green vegetables are on the list of things that are super good for your brain. So, hopefully it'll help us.
Brain food.
Brain food. So are berries. And salmon.
And
are on that
avocados.
list. Yeah. I stepped on a tomato, so if you come over this
Oh, sorry.
It's
Oh my gosh,
all
it's
right.
everywhere.
No, you had a tomato and I dropped garlic, so it's all good. Okay, I'm just gonna let that heat and then we're good. Yeah, this is gonna be a pretty thick soup because the barley cooks down, but that's fine. It'll be good.
Okay, we'll start there, and if we need more lettuce, I will gladly cut or rip more.
Start to boil, pop the lid on it, we're gonna be good. Okay, can you help cutting anything over here in your?
Maybe green onions,
Okay.
so we have that for garnish.
Okay. I'm happy to with this cutting board. Let me.
I'm gonna do cucumbers next.
Do you want me to cut some cucumbers?
Sure.
Show me the cucumber turkey that I like.
Ooh, I wanna see this. I'll wash them for you. Unless you're already over there. Here, right here.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
We've got a little graveyard of things that have fallen on the floor all behind us back here, out of camera range, trying
Trying
to
to
fall.
catch a
Yeah.
piece of paper with my
I
foot.
know. Well, I've got stuff back here too. Try not to look down. Okay, so now I need a fork.
Okay.
Do you see a fork?
There's plastic forks.
Anything can work. Okay, on plastic
Yeah,
fork.
they're in that box.
Okay. I'll show you my trick. So you can peel cucumbers. You can leave the peel on. But a friend of mine, an elder, about 15 years ago, showed me what she likes to do with cucumbers. See if I cannot break it. So you just take a fork. I don't know if this is gonna work. I might have to go get a metal fork. You
To
just
peel them?
score it. We'll see, it makes it kind of good. Well, it's working. I'm just trying not to snap the tines off. Okay, and then when you cut it, I'll show you. It's sort of, it's not really peeled, but it's partially peeled. There's these little bits of peeling on there. The plastic fork is harder to use than you would think.
Got some cauliflower. Also adds a really good crunch. And broccoli.
Okay. Rinse the dill off my knife so I don't slip it into somebody's stuff when they're not ready for it.
No big deal.
No big deal.
Good one.
No big deal.
Yeah,
Did you see my knife?
I think I did because yours was better than mine. I just cut vegetables with this one, it's fine.
Thanks.
Yours was better, I wanted it.
Finders keepers.
Yes,
Yeah, right?
kind of, right? That's exactly what I say. Especially when you're trying to find a good knife. I'm just kidding. Yeah, the meat knife, definitely we could sharpen. I think that it's safer to cut with a sharp knife than it is a dull one, because you have to push so hard. And so yeah, most of my cuts have been when I'm using a knife that is not sharp enough.
Yep. Or cutting on a table that's super low.
Yeah. Well, I don't have a height problem, so I'm okay on the table. It's not helping me not drop things, but I find it bad.
Any
Okay.
questions, comments?
My hands are
You
clean.
got a bubbler over
I
there.
just want to make sure I didn't know.
So now that it's boiling, that bubble It's
We're gonna
gonna
make it simmer.
turn down to low.
We've got a very high quality lid without a top on it. It just has a screw that you hold on to. It's very nice. We both have clean hands,
Yes.
so we're not wearing gloves, but that would be, it's okay as long as our hands
I
are
would
washed and
for
clean.
sure cut myself if I wore gloves.
I usually do okay. Okay. I'm cutting a lot of cucumbers. Okay. I've got like a lot of cucumbers cut up here.
You could do some slices and you pass them around. I love cucumbers. I will eat one just like whole.
I will too. Also, we can put cucumber slices under our eyes, right? Little
Yeah, we need
wellness
all of that right
activity.
now.
Yeah. Self-care. Are you hot? It's hot in here. Sorry about that. I know, I'm too hot too.
It probably is my.
I'm hot also. I finally stopped crying around about it, but it took me a while.
No,
No, I haven't.
That is amazing.
Yes, it is amazing. I did. I burnt myself in the front of the roasting pan earlier. I was quite upset about it for a little while. So we're not going to have anybody else reach into there. We will serve you so nobody else gets burned.
Yeah. So that whole like outside of that roasting pan is hot. It's not
The lid,
just the
black,
inside.
everything.
It's hot.
I had to burn myself twice, actually, before I figured it out. Okay, I made a lot of cucumber slice pieces of
Wow.
it. I like to slice. I do. I love to slice. It's therapy. Love to slice. Okay, we get tomatoes, we have radishes, cauliflower. You're doing a good job over there. You're being pretty fast.
Thank you.
Yes.
I've made a lot of salads in my
Yeah,
30
me
years
too.
of life.
Me too. Okay. So, is there anything else that needs to be cut?
The green onion.
Is there broccoli? Oh yeah. You want me to cry?
No, this
I won't
doesn't
cry.
make you
I
cry.
won't cry very much. It'll just be a little if I do.
That one.
Okay. She also was going to make ranch dressing. You can use Greek yogurt to make sort of a healthified ranch dressing. So we just have the ranch dressing package, but instead of the mayonnaise or the sour cream, we have fat-free Greek yogurt, which just makes it higher protein and lower fat, plus the culture, the good guys that get in your stomach and help your gut bacteria be healthy, which we think helps immunity, which couldn't hurt right now for sure.
And you could like make that and then keep it in the tub and put it in the fridge and just write ranch on it so people don't go thinking they're eating yogurt, but
It is a wash away too.
and use it for a while.
What's the best kind of yogurt?
So Greek, so this is actually, she got non-fat plain Greek yogurt. So make sure that you read carefully. I know somebody that was trying to do this and they accidentally bought vanilla yogurt. And vanilla yogurt with ranch dressing is not very good. They're like, oh yucky, what is this?
So like low fat or non-fat,
Yeah,
not
you
like
could,
full
right.
fat.
Well, full fat's not bad. I mean, we think that actually there's some things that are good for us in dairy that are full fat. So you could really use any of the Greek yogurts. You could use full fat, non-fat, low fat. They're all going to be pretty good.
Oh.
I think it also kind of depends too on like what your dietary needs
Yes.
or what you're trying to.
Yes.
You can eat a pretty
Right.
high fat diet or
Right.
you want to try and eat a low fat.
Right. Okay, there we go. So here, we've got these to go in there.
Stuff
I
is
think
like
this is pretty good. I know. Be careful when you step right here because this is like the graveyard for the tomatoes right behind you. Okay, so,
I think all that's left is the broccoli.
and this is, I can help you, and this is, I'm gonna turn it down a little bit. It's gonna be a kind of a thicker soup. Like if we were making this at home, I would have probably added a little bit more water at some point, but it's gonna be fine. A little more broccoli water.
We also got canned sweet corn to put in the salad. You could use frozen, or you could be really.
Does anybody have any special like thing they think is different that they like to add to salads at home? Like a different vegetable or anything that you like, especially? Has anybody tried sun-dried tomatoes? They're actually kind of sweet and they're kind of good. They're usually packed in olive oil. They sort of look like giant red raisins. But even if you don't like tomatoes, sometimes people really like those. And they're good on salad.
I love garbanzo bean, like any kind of bean.
I do too, or peas. So sun-dried tomatoes are good. Sometimes people will put a hard-boiled egg pieces on a salad, which is kind of good sometimes.
I love that.
Me too.
But eggs are like $10.
I know. Avian flu's made eggs kind of scary right now.
That's crazy.
I know. What else? I was thinking of something else I put on salad sometimes and I lost it. Tomatoes are good.
Somebody told me that the cost of chicks
Oh
are
yeah.
inflated
Yes.
now too because
Yes.
the eggs are so.
Well, and then chicks, because of the avian flu, they're not. I mean, it's harder to have live chicks. They're not doing as well for them guys.
But like, I think they said $65 or $70 a chick.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
wow.
you need what, like 10 to start your egg farm or whatever your chicken.
Maybe end up with a rooster.
Yeah.
That'd be my luck. I'd get 10 roosters.
Or your chickens that don't lay eggs.
Yes. I have a rooster farm and we'll all fight.
And they're loud and I still don't have any eggs.
Yeah. They would fight. Have you ever been around a rooster?
I had a coworker that did the chicken thing to like doomsday prep.
Oh
Yes.
And then when it started laying eggs, we can't eat it because that's the baby.
Oh my gosh.
They felt too bad.
I get that. I wonder if, that's, huh. And you don't realize till they're in your backyard and you're like tending to them.
Right, and then you see people trying to rehome roosters, or they just drop them off for a while. Like in the Clarkson Heights, there were a bunch of roosters hanging out around the landfill. So they get taken for a ride. Okay, so if you weren't here earlier,
Yeah.
there's a lot of versions of this for healthy eating. Do you remember the pyramid? The food pyramid didn't really help anybody. None of us really understood what we were supposed to do. So then they came out with this, and this has been around for at least a decade now. And so what we find for most of us, carbs should be around a quarter of our plate. So for us tonight, our carbs are the barley. And then corn is a carby vegetable, so corn would be the other thing. Our protein's gonna be the beef. We'll also would get a little bit of protein from the cheese and the yogurt if you take any of this dressing. And then the other half of our plate should be plants of some kind. If we're trying to watch our blood sugar, we could make this whole half of the plate be vegetables, but it could also still have a place in our diet for fruit. So that's kind of the way scientists have tried to make it easy for us to figure out the proportion of food we're supposed to eat based on what we know about science in our bodies right now. So for most of us, they tell us our fist could be a measure. So like potatoes, rice, potato salad, macaroni salad. If we're following this, would be about the size of our fist. And I know I do it too. Sometimes it is a quarter of a plate, but it's heaped up pretty high.
Yeah.
The potluck plate. So I think that still counts a little bit, as long as it's a quarter, not a half. But I can keep up a plate too. Right? You have to walk like this to keep everything on there. No, I just got one plate.
It's like if you ever go to a buffet and you can go back for more, but you still like fill your plate to the max.
And then you have to walk slowly and put your hands on it. Yes, exactly. Okay, I think we're
Or the Mongolian places.
Oh
Those are
yeah.
so good.
Well, you know what people do there? You like put stuff in your bowl and then you go like this.
Yes. Compress it down.
It cooks down though.
Yes, it
you know?
does.
Yeah.
Right? It does cook down.
So knowing that.
Yeah, I do that too.
That's what I tell myself.
I know.
I don't
I
eat
know.
like half of this.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah, there's a trick to the Mongolian grills. First time I went in, I put enough sauce on there, right? You have to put like 4 ladles of sauce, or it tastes like
The
nothing.
burned up noodles.
Yes, pretty much, right? Okay, and sometimes only when I'm experimenting for myself, I will put a lot of spices in just to see how they are. But I'm sparing you guys. This dill is kind of a weird one, and I don't actually, to be honest with you, I think I probably would rather have this soup with just salt, pepper, and garlic in it, and maybe not the dill also. So I'll experiment. We'll see. Okay, I think we're good.
So
You know what I think maybe would be a great idea? If I can find something that I could put that soup in. I don't want anybody else to have that fate of touching this stupid hot thing. But if I could find something to put it in so people could serve themselves and not be burned, I think that could work. What would you think if we put some in this?
yeah, that or this big bowl.
I don't know how much heat that can take.
Oh, that's fair. And it just cracks. It
Yeah,
goes everywhere.
yeah. I've done that before. It has a not a great ending. Okay. So that's simmering.
The range. Okay.
Make
Super
the
easy.
ranch.
Take the yogurt. pull the lid off. And I think I'm gonna actually put it in a different bowl to mix it so that it like the seasoning thoroughly gets
Do
through.
you see a ladle over there by any chance? I think I drew one back.
It would probably be in that. Oh no, there's one right here.
Yeah, I brought one. Thank you.
Oh, that looks good.
Yeah, it does look good. Like I said, I might, if I were at home, I might have added a little bit more beef broth to it, but it's gonna be fine. It's just not gonna be a super watery soup, which maybe people will like better.
So I'm gonna take the yogurt and just dump it in the bowl. And grab a spoon.
Let me stop spilling stuff back here. I think that's an improvement. I'm just gonna get the broth out of here. So we ended up making pretty thick soup, but that's fine. I'd rather have it that way than be a whole bunch of broth and nothing in it.
I agree. And that's a good point. Like if you do like brothier soup, you can just put less of the ingredients.
Or I would say just go back through and add more broth or more water or more tomato. Either way.
Yeah.
It's gonna be
My hair keeps making my face itch.
fine. What's making your face itch?
My hair, it's like
Oh.
tickling my face.
It's gonna be fine.
Okay.
Okay.
Greek yogurt will kind of separate a little bit.
I keep wanting to ask if you need help. I'm used to taking stuff over. I'm trying not to.
You can stir with me.
It's hard for me. I'll be over there with my own spoon. Like, stop it.
So I got the ranch restaurant style dressing mix. I got two of them because I wasn't sure. So I'm gonna start with one. No.
He's super cute. Okay, I'm just gonna add a little bit more. Just go back. There's left to not very much broth in here. It'll make more broth.
Do you use both those packets?
I haven't yet because I want
Do a
to
taste
test it first. Yeah.
Do you want me to just put a piece of carrot in there or something and see?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll do it.
Just dip your finger in there.
Yeah, I know.
Just off the spoon.
I know. You're like, gross, Julie.
Ranch is life.
Yeah, let me see. It could use the other packet.
Okay.
It's not bad, but it could have it.
Okay, so we're using both packets for this.
I'll be the guinea pig. Okay. I scooped out most of the broth, so I'm just recreating the broth here in the bottom. Oh my gosh, what a good boy.
I know, it's so good.
How old is he now?
Maybe two next
Oh my gosh, so cute. He's a good boy.
Yeah. 3 is the transition of.
Some kids are. Sometimes I have him at 2.
Yeah, that's
He's
true.
super cute. He seems like he's a good guy. Okay.
All right, taste test this one.
Okay, let me try again.
Not that we have really any options.
No, it's gonna. I'm gonna say I love it, right?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, so good.
It's gonna be good.
It's perfect.
It is good.
Okay, cool.
Tastes like ranch.
We're gonna just tuck this to the side because I am gonna reuse this.
I'm gonna add a little more broth. I made some more broth in here. I'm gonna.
Did you add the rest of the spinach?
I was gonna put that last bit in that one.
Okay, do you want me to?
Wait a little while because that needs to cook a little bit more.
Okay.
The spinach will actually dissolve, kind of. Okay, there. Now we're good. And then some more. I can get more out of here if I need more. Oh my gosh, that's hot and ready to go. Okay. So quicker class tonight since we only made one thing, our salad bar. So we're pretty fast. Any more questions from the life? If not, we will. I'll put a little bit more soup. I'll put some soup in the bowl so you can see. I'll only find a bowl.
I got a lot of them.
Let me grab this. I'll just show, and we're actually going to be done. We're filming for tonight. So
Come get a close up of this stuff. This is
here's how the beef barley soup came out.
beautiful and colorful and.
Ooh.
So hopefully that. Thanks for watching. I'll be doing another soup recipe in Kamia in a couple weeks. So hopefully we'll see you then. Have a good night.